What's up, YouTube? It's me, Radical Fox here, back for another episode of Terraria. If you're wondering why I'm saying back for another episode, it's because the first two episodes I made on the endgame items and Builder's Workshop, an amazing world with all 1.3 items, it's because I just posted them on Screencast-O-Matic, which, if you want to see them, I don't suggest you get them. I don't suggest you get Screencast-O-Matic, although it is free. And by don't suggest you get Screencast-O-Matic, I mean you can see them on YouTube, because I'm going to be posting them on YouTube soon. So, today we're going to be looking at the Mage class. More specifically, early game, mid-game, and end-game loadouts. Now, what I consider early game is pre-hard mode, mid-game is hard mode, and end game is Moonlord drops. So, right now, we are going to be looking at the items and weapons I suggest for early game. For you early game people out there who don't really have the end game or hard mode stuff yet, or just can't get past the wall of flesh. So, here's the weapons. I just went with 4 weapons for this one, as I did for each of them. Now, I suggest the Flame Lash. It's a lot better than the Magic Missile because it'll light enemies on fire, and it does 54 magic damage, 4% critical strike chance, very fast speed, strong knockback, uses only 12 mana, summons a controllable ball of fire, kind of like the Magic Missile, but it does fire damage. It'll light things on fire. As you can see here. It'll kill him instantly. But you can do this, you can hit enemies with it. It's really useful. And another one I suggest is Demon Scythe. It does 47 magic damage, 4% critical strike chance, very fast speed, average knockback, uses 14 mana, and casts a Demon Scythe. It's very useful for taking out the wall of flesh, but I suggest using the Star Cannon, which we will discuss whenever we get to ranged, which will probably be the next episode of this 4-part mini-series that I post on YouTube. So next is Space Gun. It costs no mana if you're wearing the meteor armor. It's really good. So, 25 magic damage, pretty decent for early game. 4% critical strike chance, very fast speed, and extremely weak knockback. Well, that's kind of to be expected from a mana ranged. It's pretty good. Over here, bunny. I'm just gonna come over there and shoot him. So it does about 23 damage per second if you're just hitting a single mob. And you one-shot it. But now that we're done with that, we're going to be moving on to mid-game stuff. These pants will place on the mannequin. Okay. But we will be discussing that right about now, so I'm gonna keep that out there. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly put these away. Again, I don't know how to cut my videos, but I'll probably figure it out. Actually, I will cut this out. So if you guys can see this, I probably forgot to cut it out. So if you can see this, just ignore it, skip ahead. Just skip ahead. That's all I can really say. And for this loadout, we will be using Spectre gear, as well as the Spectre wings, because they just fit well with it. You don't need Spectre wings, I just suggest them, because they fit with the gear. I'm going to be using Celestial Cuffs, Mana Flower, Spectre Wings, and Bundle of Balloons. as well as the Sorcerer Emblem. I forgot to mention that. Sorcerer Emblem I use in both the early game and the end game, and the mid game, but that's just because they're pretty useful. But I don't think you can get the Sorcerer Emblem in early game. Wait, I actually suggest the Ankh Charm, not the Sorcerer Emblem. I suggest that for the endgame stuff. But right here, I'm going to put on Spectre Gear. Okay, now that we're back, I'm going to be showcasing what the armor and the weapons do now. Okay, so the armor, 18 defense, 14 defense, and 10 defense. Increases maximum mana by 60 and reduces mana usage for just about all of them. In the set bonus, magic damage done will hurt extra nearby enemies. Okay, first we're gonna check out the Razor Blade Typhoon. 72 magic damage, 16% critical strike chance, very slow speed, average knockback, only uses 12 mana, and casts fast moving razor blades. And it casts 2 of them for what it would do. It's really OP and it's dropped by Duke Fishron. Now we're going to be looking at the Staff of Earth. 87 magic damage, very slow speed, uses 11 mana. It summons like a rock ball to crush your enemies. It's actually can be really useful and fun to use. Next we're looking at the Rainbow Gun. Uses 15 mana, 54 magic damage. Let's take a look at it. Now this will do continuous damage if enemies run into it, so you can use it as a barrier. Okay, now we're gonna look at the Heat Ray. 66 magic damage, very fast speed, uses only 6 mana. It's pretty dang good. It's somewhat similar to the Space Gun, but it's dropped by the Golem. It is OP if you're... It is really OP if you're using it with Spectre Gear. Let's watch this. See? I only have half my mana and I shot like, what, 50 rounds? That's over-exaggerating. But that's what kids do. And you probably expect me to be a kid. I am a kid. Yeah, I will survive along on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna cut this part out. So you guys don't have to sit here and watch me put away my junk. Okay guys, now that we're back, we are going to be looking at the Nebula gear, as well as the endgame stuff. Okay, so what I suggest is the Ankh Shield, Moonstone, Sorcerer Emblem, and the Nebula Mantle. As well as the Nebula gear, because that's the endgame magic, Mage. As you can see here, it gives you 60 more mana and reduces mana usage by 15%. It's pretty dang good. And the Nebula Mantles look really cool, as well as the effects that you get from wearing the full gear. And first off, we are going to be looking at the Lunar Flare. 141 magic damage, very fast speed, and only uses 11 mana. Watch this. It's really good for taking out bosses. As well as the next item, the Last Prism. Same damage and everything. But this only uses 10 mana. And it has no knockback whatsoever. But it has continuous damage. But I like to call this the Concentrated Death Beam, as you will see in my very first video that I've ever made. It's really good. Now next we have the Nebula Arcanum. 98 magic damage, uses 25 mana, it has average speed, average knockback. It's pretty good, it's decent. And it charges up and bounces off walls, it's pretty good. So now we're going to be looking at the Nebula Blaze. 183 damage, very fast speed, no knockback, and only uses 15 mana. From Orion's belt to the palm of your hand. I like this. I like the description of that item. It fires that, and it homes in on enemies. Watch this. See? It'll home in on enemies, and it goes super fast. So, oh, and I forgot. I suggest a Celestial Emblem. It's pretty good. And that's all for the video I made. I'm just going to be putting this stuff away while I'm doing the outro. And putting my old armor back on. And all I have to say, guys, is stay radical. See ya, folks.